28th of December 2024 is the timestamp for the records. And as you can see, I am sitting in my lounge. I'm the only person who's awake at this point. Let's do a timestamp. It's 8:39 a.m. in Abu Dhabi. That takes care of all the things that most of you are often curious about. But I want to sit here today and make one of the most important videos. The reason why this video is important to me is because I am pro-marriage. I like people to be able to settle down. I know the advantages of staying together, of growing together. I also do know the challenges. My youngest child is 18, so I've been here a long time. I've had 2 children with 1 man. We've carried on through the whole over 2 decades experience. Yeah, I've discovered a lot of things, and I'm hoping that in this video I will break things down for you. Okay, I came to marriage wanting it to work, just so you know. I came to marriage a romantic, and I found the very early days of marriage very difficult. Actually, no, the very early days were fine. It's when a couple of years had actually settled. It's when the children were here. Yeah. I found that episode very, very difficult. But to be honest, the entry itself was very difficult for me. I have thought about it for so long, trying to understand why it was so difficult for me. And today, I want to break some for you because I finally understand what it is. I do know there are many, many women who will be feeling what I felt, and there will be many, many men who would watch your women feel what I felt and would not understand, because clearly my husband did not understand. If I could explain, I would, but I could not explain either. So let me explain in simple terms for you. You see, for women, we come to marriage wanting security. It is a thing that is so fundamentally important to women. We want security. I know our mothers and grandmothers didn't have money, and so they fixated on money and material things as the evidence of the security. The modern day woman that I am, who works, who gets paid, who has money in my bank account, need the same security, but I do not fixate on the same things. So for me, rent is not security. For me, children's school fees is not security. Food is not security. I can do those things for myself. What women actually need, and what I needed, what many of my friends and associates, and now many of the people I counsel have shared with me, and I have come to conclude on, is this. You want a guy to love you consistently. You want the guy to show you commitment consistently. You want to know that this guy would defend you. And this funny thing with defending you starts with family. And so entry into family for a lot of women is very traumatic. You come into a family unit, the guy, especially if you marry a person like me, the only son, the first child, the beloved of both parents, with sisters who adore him. Everybody, he's the golden child. And you walk into a situation like that. The golden child is not used to ruffling anybody's feathers, and he brings you to this situation. What you want is for him to show up for you. You want him to explain to his people what you are about. You want him to call his dogs to order. And a lot of the time, they do not know how to navigate this. And when they are incapable of or unable to do this, it is a fundamental betrayal. When you go to family situations and you see family members misconstruing what you are about, family members with opinions about you that are not correct, and this guy knows that they are not correct, but this guy does not defend you. This guy does not tell people to back off and leave you the hell alone. This guy watches on for people to attack you and to go for you. Oh, that is a fundamental betrayal. And when you are fundamentally betrayed, you realize that you are on your own. And the smart ones would regroup and we will go to war for ourselves. If nobody else will do it, we will do it for ourselves. Listen very carefully to the language. And that's when you will see the crazy Miss Independence comes out, because Miss Independence has discovered that you will not be able to be there for them, that they are still on their own, even with you, that their affairs are best handled by themselves because you are not handling affairs. And you will see Miss Independent withdraw. You will see Miss Independent go to war for herself and not wait for you. Yeah. Miss Independence has found myself attacked in family circles. I've heard lots of things said about me. And to be honest, I didn't know it at the time. What I wanted was for a person to simply call their dogs to order and say, hey, this one is not one to mess about. This one is here for me. I brought this one here. Whatever she's like, this is what I have chosen, and this is how we're going to do it. And in fairness, a lot of guys do not know how to navigate this. A lot of guys do not even recognize this need. In fact, a lot of girls, me myself, going through this phase at the time, could not have explained it to you. Another thing that is very important to women is for a person, you want to know that a person's love is sincere. Okay? And one of the things about sincerity is consistency. Consistency. When something is sincere, it does not change. Rock solid. And so we are looking for consistency as evidence of sincerity of the feelings that you profess. The things you say to me in private don't really mean anything. Anybody can say anything whenever. The things you do for me occasionally is also not really representative of anything, because anybody can put on a show at any time. The question is, will the show be consistent? And this is one of the things that a lot of guys fail on without knowing. A lot of women find a point of contention without understanding. So you will be at loggerheads with somebody. You will be at war with somebody. I've seen so many couples do this. And when you peel underneath it and you want to find out what exactly is the problem. Well, he doesn't come home early. That's just a symptom. What is the problem? Well, he doesn't. That's a symptom. What is the problem? And you drill down to the problem, it will come back to this. So today, brothers, get your pens, get your papers. Let me tell you this, because I want you to understand. I want you to show up in the right places, in the right ways, and to communicate, because I have also found a lot of the brothers are not in these situations because they want it that way. They don't create these situations because they want to. They just find themselves here. A lot of guys I counsel are helpless in the spots that they find themselves. They want to navigate out and do not know. So let me give you the clues that will help you to navigate better. You see, a woman wants to know that you love her and that you love her consistently. Nope. You cannot change your behavior when you are upset. You said you loved me 5 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden you want to ostracize me and make me unhappy because you are unhappy. You want to talk to me anyhow because you are upset about something. The minute a lot of guys do that, and what you don't realize is this is what you communicate to the women, that your love is conditional. That's where the problems begin. You want a woman like me to be on my best behavior so I can get some love from you. The smart ones will pick up that very quickly. They will read into it and know that it's a sticky situation, one you cannot recover from, and we will cut our losses. And you will find that a trajectory that most people bring to me begins. So if I am not subjecting to your will 100%, love would be withheld. Love is a carrot you dangle as a means of control. And a lot of guys do that and you don't realize. You want to dangle love as a means of control. I will smile at you when you are nice. If I come and my meal is cooked and it's warm, then I'm in love with you. If I come and for whatever reason something has not been held in the perfect way I want, then I'm going to sulk. Then I'm going to I'm not going to talk to you. Ha! You are providing conditional love, and the smart ones will show you a middle finger because it is a situation you cannot win from. You know that, right? You cannot win. The minute women allow you to go on that trajectory, their happiness is finished. Their peace is finished. They will have to jump through hoops all the time. They have to remain in your good. Do you know how exhausting that is? To try and follow a code that you often don't know. To appease somebody who is not even clear of the tools for appeasing him. To be under somebody's control. And so the very smart ones will quickly realize, this is going nowhere. Look, this happiness is not coming. So forget that one. Let's kick in Miss Independence and let's get on with life. If a person is going to withhold love, whenever he wants to withhold love, he can stick it up his bum. And we are going to move forward. And a lot of your women do stick it up your bum and you don't understand. So let me tell you what the very classy, very smart guys do. Have you seen those guys who open the door for their women every single day? Yeah, that is a very simple, very open expression. And yes, the smart ones do not open the door when they are first dating only. No. The ones who are able to actually show through, the ones who win, the ones who are mad at you but will still march around the door to open the door for you. Yeah, those people communicate something to their women that the rest don't. I am mad at you, but I will not withhold what I do because of it. I am furious with you, but I will not withhold because my intention is not to control. I will do nice things for you because I want to do nice things for you, not because you are well behaved. I want to show up in what is my way consistently for you, regardless. And the guys who find how to do this, you are mad at me, but you pay your children's school fees because the children's school fees is actually not connected to my behavior. It shouldn't be that I should please you, I should entertain you before you honor your commitments and you uptake your responsibilities. You should respect my parents because they are elders in the community. They happen to be my parents. They are probably the same age group as your parents. And you uphold and respect them as elderly people, whether you are on good terms with me or not. See, when you do that, you show up consistently for a person in the good and in the bad, when you are mad and when you are happy. It allows a person to see your professions of love as sincere. It's not conditional. There are so many people whose relationship and interactions with your spouses are conditional. I'm speaking at a woman's angle. I am not suggesting only men are conditional. Women are the same. When he gives you money is when you will remove your knickers. When he shows up and buys you a new car is when you are all over him. You said that you love this man. Yes, he's an absolute idiot. And on the day he comes as his worst form of idiot, you love him anyway. You show up for him. You are mad, but you feed him anyway. Because you feed your folk. Yeah, you feed your people. You nurture your people. You are mad at him. But you will do some things that express that, yes, in this particular moment, I'm mad at you. I'm furious at you. I'm crazy because of what you did. But you know what? There are certain things that we do not compromise on. There are certain things that we don't change regardless of how I'm feeling. The people who have figured this out, who practice this, understand a principle that I want to put on the table right here. The sustenance of marriage, for marriages to thrive, for relationships to work, for happiness to be ultimately possible, there is an element that all parties will have to practice without fail. And it is the element called intentionality. You've got to be very intentional in your interactions with people, intentional in communicating that you care about a person. Good morning, Missy. Intentional that you want to show a person that through all the changing scenes, in all the storms, that you would make particular choices because you determined to make those choices. Intentional. We've been married over 20 years. Things are up and down. And when you realize that things are on the down, sometimes you do not get warning. Sometimes you don't even notice. Life is hectic, it's busy. But sometimes you come to a realization, hey, there is a disconnect between me and this person. But there cannot be a disconnect between me and this person, because a disconnect will make it difficult for certain things to happen smoothly. It is those times that you walk to a person, you take their hand, you look at them, and you say, hey, look at me. Hey, we haven't talked really seriously for a while. Let's talk. Hey, kiss me, hug me. Hey, it's something I have been practicing with my husband for a while. Anytime I feel a disconnect, I make it my choice to cue back in. Regardless of what he's thinking, regardless of what he's feeling, whatever, I want to cue in, because I think that cueing in is important. So I will cue in. And when I am in cue in mode, I am crazy on the pursuit. I will stop whatever I'm doing to go smile at him for no reason. I will make sure that I'm in physical contact for no reason. No, not to jump to final destination and outcomes. A lot of you go straight there and don't even allow the processes. No. To come sit in your lap when I want to sit in your lap. To come mess about on his game when he's focused on his game. And he has also realized that when I come and I mess about on his phone and I mess about with his game, or I do whatever, it's usually because he's zoned in on that thing. And usually, the minute I cue in, it takes a while. And then he recognizes what it is I am doing. I often see the intentional choice to cue right back in. And there are times when I haven't even spotted. I have been crazy busy going through life, and I see a person intentionally cueing in. It's the same thing. I will drop whatever I'm doing and I will cue right back in. You know what that says? That says I'm committed to this engagement. I am interested in this. I am prepared to suffer inconvenience to make this happen. Couples therapy is something that is very important. I think personal therapy should precede couples therapy. But there are certain things about relationship that has been known for a long time in very, very small pockets that are not all over the place. You will find that when a person, especially when people are divorcing, and you talk to them about it, sometimes you know that fundamentally this person cares about the other person, but they are mad because they have been failed. Especially the women, they feel betrayed because a person has not stood in for them. A person has not showed up for them. And sadly, showing up and standing in often is to do with the guy's family. The minute issues with the family are resolved, the minute the woman feels that she's got a place somewhere, and her place is undoubted by anybody else and it's established, and there's only one person who can establish it. A woman trying to establish order with a man's family is never successful. It's never successful. Those of you who are busy fighting, wanting to show his mother this and show his sister this, don't waste your time. It's not successful. The one person who establishes order on his turf is the one whose turf it is. He is the only one who can call his dogs to order. Just as in your family, you are the one who will call your dogs to order. And it's natural. A lot of women very quickly will call their family in order. In fact, the women families don't tend to have the same suspicions and don't have to They don't tend to have the same hostile behaviors towards the men as the women experience. But yeah, if a guy calls his family to order for you, if a guy especially call his parents to order for you, if a guy tells his people, nah, you cannot speak to her that way, you cannot talk to her that way, if you have issues with her behavior, you come and you speak to me. Do not address my wife. I've taught this technique to a few guys who were in very troubled relationships, have practiced some of these things, and a lot of them will come back and report magical occurrences as a result. Find a way to show to this woman that you will protect her. Protection is very important to us. It is very important to us for all sorts of reasons. It's important for personal reasons, but more importantly, women are so focused on protection because it is our prime responsibility to our children. We want to know that we will be okay and that our children will be okay in these situations. The minute you know that it will not be okay for you and your kids, you will have to make alternative arrangements. And often those alternative arrangements do not involve being at peace with you and living together. And that's where the disarray begins. So for me, if you want to work with somebody to build a life together, because that's what marriage is, it's working with somebody to build a life together. The key principle here is intentionality. You've got to carefully consider and intentionally choose to engage in particular ways. Intentionality. There is a notion of reciprocity. I don't take alone. I take and I give. I serve to be served. I uphold to be upheld. And I am kind when I am happy. I am kind when I am upset. I am consistent so that I do not allow doubt a foothold in my system. Consistent. One of the things I wanted to do was not to insult my husband. It was something I got from my dad. My dad says that anybody who calls a man a fool and then sleeps behind the fool is the greatest of the fools. And it was one of the things that really struck me. I came to marriage wanting not to insult my husband. I am a very sharp-tongued character. Ask those who have crossed my paths. They will tell you. I can destroy you with my tongue. I have known that for a long time. But you see, I promised myself that regardless of what will happen, I will not insult this man. I will not call him a fool because I don't sleep with fools. I will not call him names because I do not frolic with people who own those names. We have been through some thick places, but I will not breach that particular protocol. I will not. And there are friends of mine who've seen some terrible issues exhibit and they're like, and you did not? I will not. It is a commitment that I have made. It is something that I will never breach, regardless. I told myself that even if it didn't work and we were stepping aside and we were going separate ways, I still will not insult him because I do not open up for a fool. I do not lay behind a fool. I do not lay behind the names that you could allow yourself to call a person when you are upset. Intentionality, very important. Intentionality in communicating your commitment to somebody. Intentionality in letting a person know your standards of engagement. Yeah. I think anybody who knows me knows that I'm not an infidel. And I'm not an infidel for personal reasons, really. And it's not really conditional on my spouse's behavior. Regardless, I'm not. It is a self-respecting position that I choose to adopt. It is a thing that people should know about me, regardless of the season. It is a thing that you make a choice, you make a commitment. Yeah, there are lovely people in the street. My goodness, there are very sexy people in the street. My damn, there are very successful people in the street. They could make my life easier. Oh, there are so many dynamic people around. But you see, it is the intentionality of a choice, of knowing what I have decided I would be doing, regardless of what is around here. And people say to me, it's not possible to be faithful. It is possible if you are intentional. If you are intentional and it is linked to your very fundamental core values, often not even just to appease a spouse, It is just the way you choose to operate, and you are rock solid. See, your spouse has got to know that you are rock solid on some of the things. And when your spouse knows that you are rock solid on those things, sometimes, regardless of the prevailing circumstances, they know this one will not cross this boundary. So even if I come to see this person, if somebody takes pictures and shows me of this person naked in a place, I know that this is a boundary this person will not cross. She won't cross it for this reason and that reason, but she won't cross it. And it allows your spouse to relax. It allows you to take out the unnecessary suspicion, to remove accusation from your systems, and for everybody to settle. Everybody makes mistakes, but there are some things that are not mistakes. There are some things that are fundamental choices. There are some things that when you are fundamentally intentional, you would be in a position to bypass. You cannot be haphazard. You cannot be haphazard. It cannot be anything goes. Your eye is wandering around the environment and it sees what it sees. The environment is there and there are many things to be seen. And yes, you will see things and you will intentionally make certain choices. And if you are not willing and ready to make choices along those lines, again, be intentional, be brave, be open, and just let people be. Put out how you want to engage and let people know. Those who are willing to engage on those terms will come to you. I have a few friends who are confirmed bachelors. They would never marry anybody. They've put it right out here. And yes, they find people to play with. They find people who are also themselves interested in play. The rules of the game are set from the beginning, and everybody consistently upholds that. And I've seen people in those situations also very happy. What does not work is the element of surprise. What does not work is variability. What does not work is not knowing where you stand with a person. We like to know, especially the women. We like to know. So show people where you stand. Stand firmly in those places. Let them establish and confirm that that is exactly where you stand. And it will change a lot of things in your interactions. I have many intentions for this video, but it's approaching 30 minutes already, which is already too long. So permit me to call a video one in a series. We are going to sit and we are going to have conversations. When you are mad at somebody, then you are allowed to be mad at somebody you love. You have to remember that you love this person even in the moment when you are mad. So you tell the person you are mad, but you don't hurt a person because you are mad. When something has happened and you need to voice out, yes, voice out and tell a person. But ultimately, remember that the ultimatums that most of you put down in relationships introduces conditionality. And the minute you introduce conditionality, the smart ones would always know that you are intending to control. Control is not good for the human. The human needs to maintain autonomy. And so the ones who are smart will very quickly recognize you and your control techniques, and they will call your bluff. They will call your bluff, and it will end in tears. Love is not conditional. Commitment is not conditional. Relationship should not be conditional. If you wake up from the wrong side of the bed, I am your spouse because you have determined me to be. And you will engage with me in ways that are non-maleficent. And if I wake up on a happy day, I will smile at you. If I wake up and I'm mad and I don't feel like smiling at you, I would at least look at you. Let's pause here. Let me have your feedback and let's engage. Remember, my intention is to make sure that your relationship works. It's not to take a side with anybody. Who cares about sides? There are no sides in a relationship. There's just people in the center of what you create. And if it's good, it will serve and nurture all of you. If it's toxic, it will poison all of you. Remember that. See you in the comment section.